Hello, and how do you do? This is Operation Fatherhood here. Excuse me. It's been a minute. I said before I was gonna try to work on doing once a week, but life does happen. So I'm gonna try to do my best to do more of these live streams. During the weekends, when things aren't as somewhat hectic, and do my best anyway. And also, try to, stay consistent on, putting out content throughout the week. Um, for my fellow fathers out there, my fellow educators, to the next generation, anybody out there who I can be a blessing to. Um, and also, too, my goal is to start putting my email address in the show description. So um, if you know anybody who's needing any encouragement, any advice on anything, my email address will be in the show description. So those persons, you, whomever, may need uh, to be uplifted. May need something to help them think about. I'm not saying I'm, a certified counselor. I'm not saying that. So it may be that I could put you in the right direction of some resources or something like that. But my like I said before, my goal with this channel has been to be a blessing to my fellow fathers, and be a blessing to the next generation, be a blessing to as many people as possible. That is my goal. Um, initially it did start off as being, something I could pass on to my children, just like different life lessons, different things for them to think about, just in case I don't live a long time, after going through a divorce and not seeing them every day. I hope I do, live as long as possible and see them be young adults and all that kind of that good stuff. But anyway, so what are we on, talking about tonight? My goal uh, tonight is to talk about what are you doing for yourself? My goal is not to make sure this goes past, 15, 20 minutes. So we'll see what happens, maybe even 10 minutes. But again, the reason I say that is because recently, and I've kind of seen this a few different times with different people I've interacted with, but recently I'm thinking about a person and a couple of people in general who um facing different, financial issues, and they were needing, some real help. Which I've been down that road before, so I'm not condemning them or judging them. I get it. Uh, but the thing, I started realizing was is that, and this is why I want to you who is watching this, whenever you're facing things, if you're going through the same thing more than once, multiple times, right? Um, you should really start thinking to yourself, okay, what can I do to make changes, for myself, and on myself or in myself or through myself or whatever it is. Look at yourself first. That's why I said before, when it came to my divorce. I was, I've talked to, a few different people who were, in my corner. I did a video recently about 3 people you need to look at having for your corner if you're a divorced father, if you're a divorced mom too. Obviously, this is a fatherhood channel though. And one of the things I've tried to, remind people is, or I tried to tell people, at least with my own walk, my own journey through divorce, is that in in all realness, like being honest and transparent, obviously, whenever you're dealing with a divorce, it's like marriage, right? Even when you love each other, you don't, or whatever it is, it takes two to tango, as they say. The thing for me, though, right, for me to grow, for me to, move forward, for me to really like, okay, try to figure out, okay, what is it that I need to grow? What is it I need to do? What did I do wrong with you? I need to look at myself. So I put all the blame on myself, for myself, the way I look at it. And the reason I do that is because it's helped me move forward. It's helped me to not look back and be like, oh, why didn't she do this or why didn't she do? Because what ends up happening is, um, and this is just like I said for myself, but I've seen it with other people too. That what ends up happening is you put off so much of the blame on somebody else, and it's quite possible. Like I've said, also said this before, it's quite possible that for some people the blame does lie with others. Okay, But sometimes people put so much blame on the other person and constantly, oh, well, they did this and they did that, and none of us are perfect, right? Um, and sometimes you constantly putting off all the issues on that person, it really can't. It really doesn't allow for you to grow. Now, some people it might, but for most, I think it doesn't. Because then you continually going back like, well, they did this and they did that, and but you really are not realizing the impact it's still having on you because you keep talking about that person as far as your well being and where you are and how and really it ends up becoming like a block for you to move forward. And so for me, um, for me to move forward, I had to do, what I had read. I think I read somewhere something called like radical acceptance. And for me, it was like that, this form of, for me to move forward and grow from the failure of my divorce and failure of my marriage, or not failure of my divorce, but divorce and failure of my marriage, it's like a radical acceptance of I put it all on myself, right? As the man and all that stuff. Okay, well, it's on me. I failed. Okay, what do I need to do to move forward from this point forward, from this point forward? And that's kind of the thing I think about. Kind of reminds me of something my father used to tell me when I was growing up. Um, he used to ask me when I was a kid, and he would ask me different questions, and I would act like I didn't know that. I don't know, man. I don't know, And you'd be like, no, no, for real. What is the definition of insanity? And he would tell me, and he made me realize, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting different results. So, and I'll probably repeat that again throughout this little live stream. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting different results. So, for example, I had a person, like I said before, who I knew was facing some, they were facing some financial issues. And like I told them, I've been down that road before, I get it. And they were like, yeah, I don't have anybody to help me. And, I'm like, well, have you tried talking to this person or that person, or maybe networking? And said, well, nobody, rocks with me like that. Nobody, I just stick to myself and stuff like that. It was like, ding, that should, trigger something in your mind. Okay. So why don't they rock with you? Why don't you have anybody in your corner to hang out with you or help you or whatever? Right. And this person doesn't live near me and we're not that close. So I'm just like, so, okay, so that should let you know right there. Excuse me. One way, in growing in success, you hear a lot of people talk about being this person's a self-made man and a self-made woman, a self-made millionaire, which self-made is kind of, it's not really true. Maybe to a degree that they were able to figure out an idea to put themselves financially in a better place or whichever. But really, it's not that they were self-made, because they had to probably use somebody or use people or network themselves into the position that they're in. So very rarely, probably almost impossible to be completely self-made. But my point being is that many times for us to grow and to move and to get into whatever place we're trying to get to, we need others, right? Um, Now, as a man, I also still get it, because men, we tend to be to ourselves. We go to work, come home, we chill, we be to ourselves. But if you listen to a lot of great motivational speakers, if you listen to a lot of like millionaires who have, these great mindsets and stuff like that, they may not have a lot of friends, may not have any friends, but I'd be doggone if they don't know how to network and put themselves in a situation to succeed. So, come down to the point that, this person, I'm thinking about, you need, a certain kind of money. Try to think about, and I'm not saying go out there and try to um make friends just to, have somebody to bum money off of. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just build you a community. You know, when I was going through my tough times in 2021 of my divorce, um, like I said before, I had a community. I still have a community. I've had a few good men and a few good women, who've been a real blessing to me, and they all want blood either. Some folks who I hadn't been in touch with, like probably the whole year prior to my divorce, in 2020. I hadn't talked to some people, and but when I needed them, they came through. And that's the thing about it, is like I said before, if you went through a similar situation that you're going through now, that's terrible. Like the situation you're going through now is terrible, right? If you went through a similar situation like that before, and you're doing the same stuff that you did when you went through it the first time now, then that's kind of stupid on your part. That's stupid on my part. Like if if I was to tell you stuff that I've gone through and there were things I did multiple times, it's like, come on, dummy. Let's go back to what your father taught you. What you're trying to pass off to your kids, you got to be accountable. You got to live it out too. Again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice and expecting different results. Okay. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice and expecting different results. So, that being said, again, look at yourself. Okay, what can I do to put myself in a better situation? So that was kind of the thing for me, like coming out of 2021, right, like as I was, going through the separation phase and about to, go through my, have my divorce in early November. I was I think to myself, okay, well, what do I need to do moving forward? Okay. What do I need to do? Okay, one thing I need to think about is money. Okay, so how am I going to put myself in a better situation financially? Okay, I had to think about that. Still I am thinking about it. Okay. Um, what do I need to do about my weight? Okay. Okay, well, I need to stop, eating out so much. Need to cut out my sodas, need to add some push-ups and some sit-ups in there somewhere, which I try to do on a daily basis now, you know, try to add salads, into my diet, So those kinds of things I've had to do for myself. Like, okay, you've got to do something to make yourself grow. You can't be doing the same junk that you did last year this year, or the same thing you did last time that you failed to with this new test, and then thinking things are gonna change. You see what I'm saying? My man Gorilla Locks, what's up, bro? Um, so that's kind of the thing, and that's kind of the thing I keep wishing my students would get. But I can't be in their homes. That's a product of home raising right there. So that's kind of the things I keep wanting them to get is like, they'll will fail an assignment or some assessment that I've given, and they're like, Mr. Dana, can I take it? Again, can I do? And I'm just like, okay, so you failed this time. Okay, do you think there's something that you might be able to do differently this time that you didn't do last time, right? And really, what it is, if I was being honest with a lot of my students, they would never watch my channel, but it would be they need to read and study at home. They really do. They really do need to read and study more at home. They really do need to practice at home. They really do need to practice writing at home, right? Um, but they're 12, 13, 14, 15, and 15, I think. That's the range of kids I have in 7th and 8th grade. But that's the thing about it too. Now I'm gonna make a quick reference to parents and then jump back to what I'm talking about. So that's the thing about it too. If you have a child, so for my fellow fathers out there, I'm gonna try to bring it back to my fellow fathers. Um, is as a dad, you should want to value your child's education. Okay. Um, and let's say there's a brother out there who's like, man, well, like, yeah, I mean, I try to do, some stuff with my kids. Okay, here's the thing though. Okay, if you can honestly say as a father, as the father to your child, that um their education is not that important, or that no, I'm not gonna go that route. If you can honestly say that your situation as a father, your financial situation, your job, your household, your social economic status is where you want your kids to be, when they hit your age. If you can honestly say that, if you can say, okay, yeah, I make whatever amount of year, I live here, I do this, I have that. If you're okay with that, and the education that you have to get to where you are, right, is okay with you, and you're okay with that with your children, cool. Do you? I would then say, why do you have your kid in school if they don't need to be there? But I digress. I don't want to, do any low blows. But that's the thing about it is that it's trying to get my students to see, and but a lot of it is because they have so many. The area I teach in, low economic, low income area, high poverty. I think there's a little bit of an issue with drugs in the area and stuff like that. Um, So a lot of the kids, man, they in and out of school. I'll see kids, one day, and then they're gone 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and then they're there for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and they're gone a day or gone the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days or whichever. And it's like, wow. I mean, as a parent, I'm a a little bit. I say a little bit. This is my third year teacher, so I'm not as shocked as I used to be, but I'm a little bit shocked, not shocked, disturbed maybe that, as a parent, you send your child to school and it's not even important to you to check their homework or check their grades or see what they're learning, right? That's why you hear a lot of teachers say, and a lot of people know it, that they consider teaching in a public school is almost like a glorified babysitting job, because you could be there for hours and really wonder if you've gotten anything done with your students because of that lack of, like, that just I don't care attitude about school. So anyway, my point, I'm gonna get back to what I'm talking about. So my thing is with my students, and I try to do it with the little club that I have, where I have a bunch of young boys in there. That I'm trying to encourage to, want to think about things, to try to grow, to try to be better and try to grow and stuff like that. A lot of them, I hear them in the hallways talking about, gangster disciple this, or blood that, or crip this, or GDK, and all this other stuff. And I told them the other day on Friday, I was like, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up, there's nothing cool about being in a gang. I don't care where you come from. I was a suburban kid, but as a little kid in Selma, Alabama, I grew up in the housing projects too. I tried to claim my little gang stuff when I was in high school too, as a little stupid suburban kid. It's stupid. It gets you nowhere. The sad thing about it is that I'm always amazed that you don't hear enough about, like, the quote unquote the OGs, and some of them do. I've listened to some of the quote unquote original gangsters, try to tell the young dudes, but a lot of more of the OGs tell them, like, listen, man, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting different results. That's why your butt keep going in and out of jail. You keep getting shot at. You keep getting in fights. You keep doing, having kids out of wedlock and not doing anything with them. Okay. Why keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and nothing changes? Nothing gets better for you. Nothing gets better for you, for your children, for your family. Why would you want that? I don't understand that part of it. So that's kind of the thing I'm talking about when it came to this person talking to me about their financial issues. And you're right, really likes the OGs worn out too. And it's just like, the sad thing about it is that you have so many, I think, so many people that um just have not gotten that mindset in their head, when it comes to, listen, I should always be working on growth and growing, and a growth mindset. I've talked about it before, having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. Fixed mindset people usually are kind of like, woe is me, can't, they face with a challenge. They're, almost close to not, changing or figuring out ways to meet the challenge, to move forward. People with a growth mindset look at it as like, okay, well, how can I change? It's a great quote by Robert Kiyosaki that I was listening to. It was some video I was watching, and he said, stop asking, no, stop saying I can't, and start asking how can I. And that's kind of the thing I think more of us, need to explain to, our young men, our young women. But as fathers, we got to let our kids know. That's one thing I try to do, with my children. I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up by 20 minutes, another minute and a half. Is like my son, when he's facing a challenge, right? Like, I can tell already he's kind of a perfectionist. His mother is one, my ex-wife is one. She's very intelligent and he's very intelligent. I can already see it. He wants things to be just right. Like, if he's trying to figure out these little magnet tiles, he's trying to build or blocks or whatever, he wants to be just right. And when it falls, he's like, he like gets so frustrated. I'm like, buddy, okay, slow down. Okay. What I always tell you when you're facing a challenge, it's a little tougher for you. Slow down. Okay. I say, bro, breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Maybe take a minute away from it. Okay. Or think to yourself, how can I do this? How can I change it to make it work for me? And then maybe if it's still not working for me, maybe I need to ask for help. Okay. But you got to realize, okay, and again, this is a 5-year-old, so I don't expect them to be perfect just yet, or quite getting this concept. But the thing is still for me to try to make sure that he understands as he gets older, and my daughter too. But she's 3 years old and slightly doesn't care, but she kind of cares a little bit with her dolls, or if her brother does something, she gets mad or something like that. But it's to try to help both of them to realize is that, look, again, the definition of insanity. Okay, it's gonna go over a little 20 minutes. I always say this. I'm sorry. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting different results. So if something doesn't work the first time, try to think of ways you can tweak it. Okay. What can I do to make this work? What can I do with myself to make this work? What can I do myself to grow, to change, to put myself in a better situation financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it may be. Okay. But doing the same, making the same. Okay, here's my thing, and I'm gonna close. Going through the same stuff over and over again, only adding more stress to yourself, making your life that much more unhappy, and going on and on about and complaining about the same stuff that you could actually do or change, but you are the one not changing it. So you're still complaining, and nothing is getting better for you. You should want better for yourself. You should do better for yourself. Again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting different results. What can you do to make your situation better? It's Operation Fatherhood. Continue to check back with the channel. Like, subscribe, share. Let's get this thing going. Let's make it grow. Peace.